Have you ever wondered why in Finland children seem so relaxed and so happy? On the green grass of Helsinki parks, in the libraries filled with natural light, between the playgrounds where laughter echoes through the space, you will see children not carrying heavy backpacks, not rushing to evening extra classes, or simply smiling when being free to explore the world in their own way. Imagine an education system where students have almost no homework, no exams, of stressful standardization, and recess time takes up nearly 1/3 of the total class duration. Does it sound illogical compared to global standards? But this is exactly the formula that has brought Finland to become an education superpower, leading the world, while many countries are in a fierce race with huge volumes of homework. Finland faces a completely opposite reality, a humanistic educational philosophy where less is more, helping children learn fewer hours, but achieving the highest results in the world. According to data from the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD), published in 2023, Finnish students have the amount of homework the least among developed nations. Data from the PISA report proves this is the country with reading and science indices always in the top global positions. But behind those numbers is a much larger story. A story about society, about the absolute trust in the autonomy of children, and about the true value of humans. Why do Finnish children not have to do homework? What helps them to remain intelligent, creative, and full of resilience when entering life? And why is the world looking towards the Nordics as an educational role model that is completely changing the definition of success? In today's journey, we will go through 3 parts together. Part 1 talks about the principle of equality, when trust replaces all forms of control. Part 2 talks about the science of silence, when recess and freedom are the moments when the brain develops most strongly. Part 3 talks about the position of the teacher, the researchers who are creating the future of a nation without pressure. If you love these authentic stories, please relax and practice active listening with me. Just 30 minutes every day. Staying until the end of the video, you not only learn English, but also learn how to look at education with a heart that is more calm and understanding. What do you think about completely removing homework? Is it true freedom or a risk for the future? Please leave a small thought down below. Let us begin. Philosophy. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Part 1. The foundation of absolute trust and equality. To clearly understand why Finnish children do not have to do homework, we need to look at their core principle, absolute equality. According to reports from the Eurydice European Education Information Network, Finland implemented a historic reform, completely abolishing the division of specialized schools, selective classes. Since the 1970s, their philosophy is very clear. All children, whether in urban or rural areas, whether rich or poor, must receive an educational quality that is identical. Finnish people believe that homework is one of the causes increasing the gap between rich and poor, because not every child is lucky enough to have parents with enough time or knowledge level to support them at home. Removing homework is exactly the way they protect fairness for all social classes. Look at the actual numbers. While students in countries like South Korea or China spend an average of 12 to 15 hours per week just doing homework, Finnish children spend less than 3 hours. Research data from Stanford University has pointed out that cramming homework is not proportional to creative thinking ability or practical intelligence. On the contrary, it creates psychological barriers, making children afraid of learning right from the start. Instead of assigning model exercises, Finland applies the method phenomenon-based learning, where students are free to explore real-world topics such as climate change, cybersecurity, or family economics, instead of solving dry spreadsheets. This helps knowledge to be absorbed naturally through problem solving. An OECD survey shows teachers in Finland spend the least time on grading homework compared to other countries. That precious source of energy is reinvested by them to design personalized lessons and meticulously observe every smallest need of the child. This system operates based on a belief that every child has their own pace of development. Not having homework allows children to have time to do other important things, playing, moving, and spending time with family. This is not indulgence, but a careful preparation for a healthy intellect. This trust is not only for students, but is also the foundation of the entire society's operation. They do not consider students as knowledge-memorizing machines, but consider them as human beings who need to be nurtured comprehensively in character and soul. It is this shift that has created a generation confident, independent, and capable of lifelong self-learning. A generation that does not learn due to pressure, but learns because of the desire to understand the world. Do you agree that equality in education is more important than training geniuses who lack social empathy? Please share your perspective so we can reflect together. Philosophy. The pinnacle of education is when trust replaces all forms of control. Part 2. The science behind silence and recess. To prove scientifically for the fact that having no homework still brings superior efficiency, we need to examine important data on psychology and neuroscience conducted on an international scale. According to a global report from the World Health Organization (WHO) in 2022, overloaded academic pressure and the lack of rest time are the leading causes of anxiety syndrome, sleep disorders, and depression in children between the ages of 7 and 15. In Finland, the Ministry of Education and Culture has established a regulation with high discipline. For every 45 minutes of focused study, there must be 15 minutes of complete recess. This is not a recommendation, but a mandatory standard in all public schools. Data from in-depth research by the University of Helsinki has shown this break time is not a waste of time at all, as many other education systems mistakenly believe. On the contrary, it helps the children's brain to have the necessary silence to regenerate the ability to focus, transfer information from short-term memory to long-term memory, and especially reduce cortisol levels. Cortisol is a stress hormone. When this level is too high, it will directly inhibit the prefrontal cortex, where is responsible for logical and creative thinking. Data from the PISA exam results on international student assessment has proven a startling paradox. Finnish students spend the least time in the world on doing exercises and studying formal subjects, but the ability to solve complex real-world problems is consistently at the top of the rankings. To further strengthen this point, a 10-year long-term study from the University of Eastern Finland points out that children being free to play, especially participating in outdoor activities in all weather conditions, helps strengthen the connection between neurons. This helps increase the ability of critical thinking by at least 20%. The Finnish education system always puts quality above quantity. Instead of assigning homework just to test mechanical memory, teachers here encourage students to spend the entire evening on what they call unintentional learning. Unintentional learning is when children prepare dinner with their parents, read a comic book by themselves, or simply play in the forests near their home. Reports from the American Psychological Association (APA), published in specialized journals, also confirm that family bonding during evenings without homework helps children develop emotional intelligence (EQ) far superior compared to students who are overloaded with extra classes. We need to understand that when children are empowered to master their own time, they do not become lazy at all. On the contrary, that is when they start to learn the most important skill of the 21st century: self-management skills and taking responsibility for themselves. When children learn how to play, is exactly when they are learning how to live. They learn how to negotiate with friends, how to face failure, and how to find solutions in unplanned situations. These are the core values that no homework page can fully convey. If you are feeling that these science-based analyses bring a fresh perspective on the future of education, do not hesitate to click the subscribe button now. Your persistent support is the greatest resource, helping us continue the journey of decoding knowledge full of humanity like this. Do you believe that a child who plays freely will have a better chance of success than a child who only knows homework in their future life or not? Please leave your honest thoughts in the comments below. We will discuss together. Philosophy. True intelligence does not arise from pressure, but flourishes in freedom and joy. Part 3. The shift from grades to practical skills. One of the biggest reasons helping Finnish students surpass other countries in competency assessments is the focus on practical problem-solving skills instead of just rote learning theory. According to strategic reports from the Finnish National Agency for Education, instead of assigning homework for students to repeat formulas, they encourage children to participate in unique interdisciplinary projects. Students can learn math, geography, and language through a single project, such as designing a sustainable city, right in the classroom. A study by the University of Cambridge has pointed out that when children are empowered to freely manage their time outside of formal school hours, their autonomy, planning, and logical thinking skills develop more strongly by 30%. Statistical data from the World Bank on the quality of human resources in the Nordic region shows graduates in Finland have an adaptability index to the real working environment much higher than the average of OECD countries. This does not come from luck. It comes from the fact that they are not constrained in sets of model exercises with available solutions since childhood. Reports from the World Economic Forum (WEF) on the future of jobs also emphasize that The most important skills, such as critical thinking, creativity, and social intelligence, are the keys for humans not to be replaced by artificial intelligence. The Finnish education system has prepared students with these tools by providing space for natural curiosity and empirical experiences. In this country, there is no comparison or ranking of students. Through homework grades, each individual is respected to develop according to a distinct pathway suitable for their own talent and pace. UNICEF reports on the Child Happiness Index for many consecutive years always rank Finland in the first position. A child does not have to go to school with fear of unfinished homework pages. They come to school with the eagerness to explore. At this point, education is no longer a burden, but becomes a voluntary journey of knowledge. Here, teachers are mentors, not controllers. They spend class time delving into the essence of each problem, helping students understand why, instead of just what. This is the most visionary investment for a generation with lifelong self-learning capacity, knowing how to ask questions and knowing how to find answers. The silence of the evening, without homework, is when knowledge is connected to real life. That is when students realize that what they learn in class can be applied immediately to help their families or improve the surrounding community. True education does not end when the school bell rings. It continues to happen in conversations around the family dinner table, in moments when children reflect on the world by themselves. Finland has proven that for students to go further, sometimes we need to know how to step back, giving them the space and freedom for them to find their own path. In your opinion, evaluating a child based on homework grades or based on the ability to solve real-world problems will create a more solid future for the next generation? Please leave your sincere comments so we can discuss deeper together. Philosophy. The true value of a human being does not lie in what they memorize, but in the way they act when there is no instruction. Outro. The journey to freedom in intellect. We have gone through together an exciting journey to decode the secrets behind the success of the Finnish education system. We have seen that the absence of homework is not indulgence or lack of responsibility, but it is a strategy with deep scientific nature, based on the understanding of the operational nature of the human brain. From empirical data of the OECD to psychological research from prestigious universities, all affirm a truth: freedom and trust are the most fertile ground for the seeds of knowledge to sprout. This education system has proven to the whole world a very important lesson: learning fewer hours, but understanding deeper; playing more, but being more creative; and most importantly, children get to live their childhood properly, without having to trade mental health for soulless numbers. Try looking back at the invisible pressures that we, or our children, are facing every day. What percentage of those homework assignments actually help the future? Or are we accidentally extinguishing the natural flame of curiosity of children? Change does not start from macro laws, but starts from the shift in thinking of each parent, each teacher, about the true meaning of learning. Thank you for being present, for listening thoroughly, and accompanying me until these very moments. If you feel your heart and intellect are further inspired by the story of Finland, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel right now. Your strong support is the affirmation that authentic and silent knowledge content still has a place in the hearts of kind people. Do not forget to hit the notification bell so we do not miss each other in the next journeys of decoding the world. Always keep for yourself a curious soul and a free spirit in a world that always demands us to race. Sometimes stopping and listening to ourselves is the furthest step. Do you believe that the no homework education model can be successfully applied in the very place you live? What is the biggest barrier preventing this change? Please leave your deepest thoughts right in the comments below. See you again in the next valuable stories. Philosophy. Learning is not a destination, but a way of life full of freedom and happiness.